Okay. Thank you for reminding me that I'm not recording. Whenever you see me not recording, please remind me because you need these recordings. So with the bills preferences, we look at the days in which someone is supposed to pay back, and then are we taking goods on credit? We look at that unless otherwise. But most times businessmen get things on credit and they pay back later. So we automatically assign the credit, and we also automatically use discounts. Most times we as the customers for our suppliers, we receive discounts. We also give off discounts. Then you can say, okay, then let's move to the next preference. We come back to edit preferences. We need the checking preferences. When it comes to checking preferences, here we are looking mostly at how the account we shall be using to pay, or that can be used in depositing or receiving cash or receiving money. So here we have open the right checks or open to write checks, open to pay bills, open the pay sales tax account, then make deposit. Then also in the preference account, we have open to create paychecks, then open to pay payroll liabilities. These are all accounts that we can use. So let's come back to my preferences. Select default accounts to use. Open to write checks. Here it means that you are paying using check. So what do? Here you can't set up an account here unless you have checked this checkbox. So you check this checkbox so that you can create an account here. Here we assume that the bank, the company has different bank accounts or has different accounts. Even it can be a check account, or it can be a cash book or a petty cash book account where we put cash. So open to write checks. Which bank should we use to be writing our checks? Here you come down here, you select a bank, but we are not having any bank yet. So we say add. Account type, bank. Account name, let's call this, let's call this a petty cash book account. Petty. No. For writing checks, let me say it will be, let me call it Tropical Bank. Tropical savings account. Savings account. So here, what I'm saying that, remember, even if you have accounts in all banks, never allow every bank to be writing for you a checkbook. So find just one bank to be writing for you a checkbook. So here I'm choosing Tropical Bank to be the one responsible for my checkbooks. And whenever I want to pay using check, I go to Tropical Bank. Here I don't, let me say, description. Let me say it's used to pay checks. Used to pay. Used in paying checks, in paying by check. Then bank account number, in case you have it, you put it there. So far we don't have it. Routing number has never bothered, then never worry about it, yeah? Unless you have it. Then enter opening balance. Let me say we are starting business and our tropical savings account is having some money there. How much is it having? Let me say it's having 15M. Then statement ending date. When should this bank give us a statement, a bank statement? Let's say this bank should give us this bank statement at the end of our financial year, that is 31st December. It's when I expect this, the bank to send me a bank statement so that I can see whether it is in line with my cash book. Say here, you can say, okay. Then you say save and close. So that's the tropical bank, and it is down that is responsible for my checkbooks. Then okay. Okay, let me add, may you repeat yours, the last part. Okay, please pardon on this count. Okay, okay, let me go back. Okay, let me go back. I started with billing or the bills preference. You made changes. You wish to save? No. Then let's come back to the bills preference, company preferences. Here I said, when we are looking at the bills, we are looking at when we give out goods on credit to our customers and the days we are giving them to pay back the bill. So we say that bills are due 30 days after receipt. Here we are meaning that when our customers take things on credit, we give them an allowance of 30 days to pay back the money they have, to pay for the goods they have taken on credit. You can even decide to give them just in 20 days. You'll be like, for me, within 20 days, I want my money, because you are uncertain about the nearby future. Then I looked at paying bills. We remember we said that we shall always be managing the bills we owe. That means we already use credit. Anyway, pardon.
Fuck, I unmuted.
Then that means that we shall automatically use credit. We shall also be going and getting money from our, we shall also be going and getting goods from our suppliers before we pay them. And we also automatically use discounts. in case you pay back your bills before the days given to you are done. Let me say that the supplier gives you a period of 2 months to pay back for the bills you took on credit. Then for you take them back, you pay him back within the first 20 days instead of the 60 days. The supplier may be forced to give you a discount. So when you get the discount, where do you put it? We go to here we create a default account. Sorry, you know why the network is disturbing me today. You're still on, though the network has disturbed me. So I was saying, when you are given a discount by your supplier, you have to create an account where you put that discount received. And I created one which I called discount received. That is my account. The account name is discount received. To create that, I came to you click on the drop down arrow. You say add new account. I believe that I'm not having that account here. So add new account, and this time account name I called it discount received. Let me call them discount received. Received. But I'm already having this account, okay? So I was just showing you how we can take that. Then you can say, okay, that is for the bills. We look at the days we give to those who take things on credit. Then we also look at how we shall be managing our credit. Then you can say, okay. Then we went to the checking account. Checking. I said, when it comes to checking, we are looking at, at the ways through which we shall be managing our different bank accounts or cash accounts. And here, I have open to write checks. This is the bank or the bank account that you'll be using to write checks in case you are to pay by check. So I told you to make it active because here I can't type anything here. So what I do, I come to the checkbox, I check it, then I make this box here active. The list box, I make it active. So I can create here an account. And I said that account will be Tropical Savings Account. I expect Tropical Bank to be managing my checkbooks. Are you together now? No, account number is said that you skip the account number. Skip the account number. Not everything in that box. Let's look at the next. Open to pay bills. Or open the pay bills from. Open the pay bills form with. We want to pay bills. Let's say it's going to be responsible for our bills. Let's say Stanbic Bank. So you check the checkbox, make it active, make the list box active, then click on the drop down arrow. We want to enter Stanbic Bank. We want to enter an account in Stanbic Bank that we shall be using to pay our bills in case we are not paying by check. So here I will call it Stanbic Operating account. Operating account. Description. Let's say for all bills and expenses. For all bills and expenses. Then back account number. I can skip this. Routing number. I can also skip this. Then I move to enter opening balance. I assume that in this account, I've already deposited in some money and I'm having the one that I can use. So let me assume that in Stanbic Bank, I'm having 8M. Let me say I'm having 800,000 and statement ending date. When is the bank supposed to give me a bank statement? I said that the bank will always be giving me a bank statement about my transactions that I've carried out in that bank. On 31st December, every 31st December. Then I say, okay. Then I can save and close. Okay. Hope we are together now. Then open the pay sales tax form with. Then this, remember we said that we charge sales tax, and when we charge this sales tax, we charge it on accrual basis. Like we are supposed, whenever we collect that tax, we keep it somewhere. We don't just pay it there and then. Then if we are paying sales tax at the end of the month, URA, which account should we use? Let's say we are having an account in, let's say in equity. Let's say in Abusa. The account name, let it be Abusa Bank. Abusa operating. It's also an operating account because I'm going to be withdrawing and paying, depositing and withdrawing at different intervals. Operating account. Then let me say this will be for paying all the sales tax. Then let me say by this time, this account I'm having, let me say I'm even having that date. They're demanding me. I haven't paid for some good months then. Or okay. Then statement ending date. Absa is already demanding me. Most times by these accounts, you give them an order. What we always call the standing orders in accounting. That every month, at the end of the month, pay this amount of money to this organization or to this supplier or to this company. So we assume that
We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. So I'm talking about the open the make deposit form with this. Let me say someone wants to pay me through EFT using EFT, that is the electronic fund transfer. Let me say my account. Wait, in case someone is paying me, this is not an operational account, it's just for only deposit. So let me call this equity deposit account. And description for all my deposits. Then I assume by the beginning of the year, I had 1M deposited there. Then when is this bank supposed to give me a closing, a bank statement? I said, let it be on 31st December. Then I can say, okay. Then I save and close. That is for my checking preferences. Are we together? So I'm done with the checking preferences. Then I can say, okay. Then let me move to the next. That was for the checking preferences. Then let's go to the next preferences. Finance charge. Finance charges. What should we do with the finance charge preferences? 1, annual interest rate. We should set an annual interest rate in case we are even giving out loans. No, when in case we are financing our business with a loan, we are supposed to pay back that loan for a certain period of time. And what rate were we given? Let's say our annual interest rate is 14%. We are given a 14% interest rate for. Then minimum finance charge. The least we can charge, in case someone takes things on credit and pays back later, like too late. It's like beyond the time he was supposed to pay back. Not all, it depends on the bank accounts that you are having. Maybe the business is just having one bank account. Maybe the business is having different bank accounts. So it depends. I told you these preferences. These preferences. They are not all about what you are supposed to be having, but what the company has. The policies of the company. They are the ones that we depend on to set up these preferences. So in case someone takes goods on credit and we give him 30 days to pay back, and he fails to pay back within those 30 days, how much should we charge him? Let's say this person should be paying back, he should be giving us an extra amount of 5,000. Then the grace period. We gave him 30 days. We give him even an extra time of, let's say, 5 days. If he fails to pay back within those 5 days, then every day that passes, he will be giving us 5,000. Then, finance charge account. Let's call this an investee account. We are investors. Invest income account. Then you can say save and close. Assess finance charges on overdue. Calculate the charges from due date or invoice. No, let's not use the invoice. Let's use the due date. The day it takes the goods is the day we start counting. And then we can also do printing out these charges with like the form or the billing form for those financial charges. Then you can say, okay. Then we move to the next one, next preference. Let's move to the general preferences. General, what should we do? Automatically recall information. Automatically open to automatically paste the small point in our currency. We make this active. It's the main that we need. Then let's always use today's date. Default date to use for new transactions. Use today's date because we assume these transactions are always entered on that very day when they have happened. So we use today's date for the transactions that we are taking. Keep custom item information when changing item in transactions. This should always be as like we set these on by ourselves. Then keep QuickBooks running for startups. It depends. I told you this. Most times depend on our policies as the company. And bring in your friends. Yeah. Then here you can say, okay, general preferences don't have much. Then let's look at the inventory. Inventory, item and inventory preferences. What should we set up here? purchase orders and inventory. Inventory and purchase orders are active. Yes, we need that. Then we need to use units of measure. We need to set up this. We use multiple units of measure. Units of measure we are looking at one like the liters. We look at the kilograms. So remember we said that we are general product based business. That means I can't use a single unit of measure. We are dealing in different things that can have different measures. There are those that are counted. There are those that are measured in meters. There are those that are measured in liters. So we shall use multiple, then finish. Then let's see. We check all these. One about duplicate purchase order numbers. Yes, or in case you make a purchase order, then the purchase order number appears on two different things. That should be catered for also. Then we look at enhanced inventory saving. Continue. It was already enabled. I don't know why I just stopped there. Moment. Inventory, company preferences. Said we check that. We enable this. It's enabled. The units of measure even enhanced. Even enhanced inventory saving is also enabled. Everything is active. Then we can say, okay, when the quantity I want to sell exceeds on hand, quantity available on hand. In case the quantity I want to sell is beyond the one I'm having at hand, can I go and buy more? That is when it is supposed to that is when it is the system is supposed to warn you. Let me say you want to sell 50 boxes of water, but realize that you are having 10. Let the system warn you on 10. Then here you can say, okay. QuickBooks has to sleep. Okay. Let's sleep a bit. Then we move to the next preferences. Let's see. Then let's look at the payment preferences because we looked at multiple preferences, payment. Automatically apply payment, yes. In case it wasn't checked, you check it. Receiving payments, automatically calculate payments. Then use undeposited funds as default deposit account. Never use this because this money is not yet known. You should always remember I've said that there is an account that will always be giving, that is always responsible for payment of bills and expenses. So we uncheck this. Then the rest of these we are set up by the bank. We have set them in the bank. Then here you can say, okay, what I want you to look at most is this part. Use undeposited funds as a default deposit account. No. Okay. Then we move to the next preference. Let's look at the sales and customers' preferences. Usual shipping methods. What should be our usual shipping methods? Let's say we shall be using DHL to be our shipping company. So whenever we are bringing in something, we shall always be using DHL. Price levels, use price levels. In case it wasn't checked, we have to check it. Then we have sales orders. Let's see, enable sales orders. The sales orders are here. They are enabled. What about duplicate sales order number? Yes, in case you disable sales orders, then these other things won't be able to appear. But you have to enable them because we are going to be handling even the customers. Remember, we said that we shall be managing customer orders. So here, you can say, okay. And then finally, I want us to look at one more preference. That is the, let me see, time and expenses. We move to company preferences. These are so much important. If we remember, we said that we shall be keeping track of time. And what will always be our first day of the week, we shall use Monday. Let's not use Sunday, because Sunday we shall not be working. Let's use Monday. That's our default. Maybe Sunday we shall always be using that as our last date. Make all time entries as available. Yes. Then set a default markup percentage as markup. Invoice options. Create invoices from a list of time and expense. Check that. Track. Then mark all expenses as billable. Then we have default markup percentage. I told you markup is just a profit, what you want to be getting if you sell something. Every time you sell a commodity, what do you want to get? Let me say, when you are getting that commodity from your supplier, you bought it at 3M. Okay, let me say at 3M. If you are selling it, how much profit do you want to get? You may want to get a profit of 30%. You get? So the markup is the 30%, the profit you want to get when you sell that commodity. Payment, okay? Okay, I'll come back to the payment. Let me first finish this. So when you set this markup, when you are making transactions, when you are entering, or when you are capturing your items, when you enter the purchase or the amount you have paid for a commodity, you won't need to set the selling price. You set the buying price, the markup will automatically capture the selling price. So let's say our markup will be, let's say it will be 30%. So when I set a buying price of 1M, 300 will be my, then 1.3 will be my selling price because of the 30% that I've set. Then I need to set up an account. an account for the markup or for the percentage I get from this certain sale that I make. So let me say, when I get this money, it is an income. So let me call it markup account. So when I sell a commodity, this markup order 300, let me say if I buy something at 1M and I sell it at 1.3, that 300 will be going to markup account. Then say save. Then here you can say, okay. Someone has asked me to go back to payment. Payment preference. Here, I told you here payment. When you are receiving a payment, automatically apply payment. Yes, automatically calculate the payment. Then use undeposited funds as a default deposit account. Remember here you are receiving payment. And remember we have set up a deposit account. That is the equity deposit account. So we can't have undeposited funds. Whenever someone deposits some money, we take it to the equity deposit account. So this was checked. What you do, you have to uncheck it so that you don't have undeposited funds in your transactions. Then here and I told you for invoice payments, these were already set up in the bank when we are capturing our information, our company information. Then you can say, okay. And that has marked the end of today. Yeah, 5 minutes. We started late. I'm sorry, but that won't happen again. I had some issues that I was settling up. You had asked Derek to help me out. Let me first stop the recording.